What if I told you that a company once valued at $47 billion, yes, billion, collapsed almost overnight, leaving behind chaos, lawsuits, and one of the biggest startup scandals in history? This is not just a story about greed. It's a story about hype, ambition, and the dangerous illusion of limitless growth. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we break down the real business stories that every entrepreneur, dreamer, and future founder needs to know. The birth of a revolutionary idea. Our story begins in 2010 in New York City. Two entrepreneurs, Adam Neumann and Miguel McKelvey, shared one simple idea: that work didn't have to feel like work. They envisioned a place where freelancers, startups, and dreamers could come together, not just to rent a desk, but to build a community. They called it WeWork. At its core, the concept was simple: lease large office spaces, redesign them into modern, stylish co-working environments, and then sublease them to individuals and small businesses at a profit. But what made WeWork stand out was Adam Neumann himself. Tall, charismatic, barefoot in meetings kind of founder who could sell you the impossible and make you believe it was real. He didn't just say he was renting office space. No, he said. We're changing the way people work. We're building a movement, and investors ate it up. Selling the dream, not the business. From the very beginning, Adam wasn't just selling office space. He was selling a vision of the future. He wanted WeWork to be more than a company. It was supposed to be a we revolution, a community where people could work, live, and grow together. He spoke with the energy of a rock star. He told stories about building a new kind of capitalism, one that put people first. And in a startup world desperate for the next big thing, WeWork sounded magical. But here's the catch. The numbers didn't make sense. WeWork was losing hundreds of millions every year. They were spending huge amounts to lease premium office buildings, spending even more on designing them, and then renting out space month to month. Yet the losses didn't seem to matter, because investors believed in Adam's charisma. The money floods in. By 2016, WeWork wasn't just a startup anymore. It was a phenomenon. Venture capital firms like Benchmark and SoftBank's Vision Fund poured billions into the company. At one point, SoftBank alone invested over $10 billion, led by billionaire Masayoshi Son, who reportedly told Adam to go bigger. So Adam went bigger, much bigger. WeWork expanded across the globe: London, Shanghai, Berlin, Mumbai, opening new offices faster than anyone could keep track of. They bought private jets. They threw wild parties. They spent money like it was infinite. And all the while, Adam kept talking about elevating the world's consciousness. But behind that lofty mission, something darker was growing: chaos, ego, and delusion. The illusion of infinite growth. By 2018, WeWork was leasing millions of square feet of office space in over 100 cities. The company claimed to be transforming how humanity worked, but the financial reality was brutal. In 2018 alone, WeWork lost $1.9 billion on revenue of $1.8 billion. Yes, they were losing more money than they were making. Still, Adam pushed forward, convincing investors that scale would solve everything. Once we're everywhere, he argued, profit will follow. But that logic, the grow first, profit later mentality, was built on sand. The IPO that exposed everything. In 2019, WeWork decided to go public. This was supposed to be their victory lap, the moment when the world would see how revolutionary the company really was. But instead, it exposed the truth. When WeWork's IPO filing, the S-1 document, was released, investors finally saw behind the curtain. The numbers were shocking. Billions in losses, confusing corporate structures, and a business model that looked more like a real estate rental company than a tech startup. And then came the red flags. Adam Neumann had personally sold the trademark rights to the word "we" to his own company for $5.9 million. He'd taken out massive personal loans from WeWork. He was renting properties he owned back to the company. It was a tangled web of self-dealing, ego, and blurred ethics. The fall of the Messiah founder. The media turned. Investors panicked. Analysts mocked the company's mission statements like elevating consciousness and bringing the world together. The IPO that was once supposed to make Adam a billionaire hero became a public disaster. Within weeks, WeWork's valuation plummeted from $47 billion to less than $10 billion. Then, SoftBank, which had once pushed Adam to expand recklessly, had to step in and bail out the company. Adam Neumann was forced to resign as CEO. He walked away with a golden parachute worth more than $1.7 billion, while thousands of employees lost their jobs and investors lost billions. Inside Adam Neumann's world. To understand how this collapse happened, you have to understand Adam's personality. He wasn't just a founder. He saw himself as a visionary, a Messiah-like leader destined to change the world. He talked about launching WeLive apartments, WeGrow schools, and even a WeBank. He told employees they were part of a spiritual mission. At one point, he even said he wanted to become the world's first trillionaire. His leadership style was intense, full of energy, charm, and unpredictability. But it was also toxic. Former employees described a culture of chaos. Long hours, wild parties, blurred boundaries, and a constant feeling of walking on eggshells. The culture of chaos. Inside WeWork, the company culture was unlike anything else in corporate America. Employees were told they were changing the world, but they were also burning out fast. There were all-night parties, alcohol-fueled meetings, and a constant push for more growth, more speed, more hype. The company's internal motto could have been, "Growth at all costs." And that's exactly what led to its undoing. Because while WeWork looked like a tech company, it operated like a real estate one, with massive overheads and long-term leases. So when the hype bubble burst, the crash was brutal. The SoftBank rescue and the aftermath. After the failed IPO, SoftBank stepped in with a $9.5 billion rescue plan to keep the company from total collapse. They removed Adam, took control, and tried to stabilize what was left of the empire. But it was too late. Thousands of employees were laid off. Office spaces sat half empty. Investors sued. The dream of We was gone. In 2023, WeWork finally filed for bankruptcy, ending one of the most spectacular rises and falls in startup history. The warning for founders. So, what's the lesson here for every entrepreneur, founder, and dreamer? It's this: vision without discipline is a recipe for disaster. Adam Neumann wasn't wrong about community, flexibility, or the future of work, but he lost sight of reality. He believed hype could replace fundamentals. He thought charisma could replace cash flow. In the startup world, it's easy to get caught up in the next big thing, but no amount of storytelling can cover up a broken business model. What WeWork got right. Let's give credit where it's due. WeWork did change how people think about offices. The rise of remote work, flexible leases, and co-working spaces all trace their roots back to what WeWork popularized. The concept wasn't the problem. The execution was. Had the company grown sustainably, focused on profitability, and maintained accountability, it could have been a genuine success story. Even today, smaller co-working companies around the world thrive on the same model, just without the ego and excess. The human cost. Behind the headlines and billions lost, there's a human story too. Thousands of employees who believed in the mission, who worked late nights, who poured their energy into building something great, were left jobless and heartbroken. Many investors lost life-changing money. Tenants were left in limbo. It's a reminder that the ripple effects of one founder's decisions can impact countless lives. Adam Neumann's comeback. Now here's the twist. Adam Neumann didn't disappear. In 2022, he made headlines again for raising $350 million from Andreessen Horowitz for his new venture, Flow, a real estate startup focused on reinventing apartment living. Yes, after everything, some investors still believe in him. It's controversial to say the least, but it raises an interesting question. Can someone who caused one of the biggest startup failures of all time truly redeem themselves? Only time will tell. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with someone who loves startup stories. Because here, we don't just talk about success. We uncover the stories, the hype, and the hard lessons behind the world's most fascinating business empires.